Hey guys, it's Shozzy here, and welcome to episode 24 of the Berlin Dynamo series. Of course, last season we did get promoted, so we currently find ourselves in the 2 Bundesliga. As you can see, the season's already started, and as you can tell from the episode title, we are actually managing to sign some pretty good, young players. A lot of NEWGENS I've found available that were on like amateur contracts and stuff like that. Players we probably couldn't have signed last season. And now all of a sudden we can sign them. Anyway, first thing I want to get into is the finances. As you can see, 3.8 million in the red. However, this is likely going to sort itself out. As you can see, the wage budget, I believe it was originally 61 or almost 62,000 per week, which is okay. It was a decent little increase from the 47 we were spending in 3 Liga. I put bonuses to the lowest they can go for Bundesliga 2, 2 Bundesliga, sorry, and for the German Cup as well, the Pokal. So put them lowest. I think I got about 350,000 transfer budget as a result of that. And then obviously I put that into wages. It's pretty much just under 68,000 there. And as you can see, we're currently spending about 68, nearly 68 and a half. So we're only over by about 500 per week, which isn't too bad. We do have a little bit of a scouting budget, but it's almost non-existent. Anyway, finances look really bad. However, if we look at projection, the projection over the course of the next 3 seasons looks really, really good. As you can see here, at the end of this season, we're only going to be 1.66 million in debt, which is more than half of our current debt that we're in, wiped off, which is massive. End of next season, 101,000 in the positive, in the black. And then the season after, 2.66 million. So it looks like, I guess, on average, we're making about 2.5 million profit at the moment. Now, there might be some other reasons for that. Before we go on the transfers, let me show you this, and you can see a bit of a spoiler. We've moved into a different arena. So we're currently ground sharing with Magdeburg, who are one of our rivals. Which is interesting. Now, the reason why, I'll show you the sport forum here. This is our home ground, essentially. This is Berlin Dynamo's home ground. Sport forum, 12,000 capacity, 1970 it was built. Obviously, we've had all of our matches there so far in the series. Understandable. You look at the competitions, and we cannot play in this division or the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga, 2 Bundesliga, they're not on the competitions for this. And I'm not sure if that's an oversight, but I'm leaning more towards that the stadium is potentially not up to scratch or doesn't meet certain criteria to be in the top 2 divisions of German football. That's my thought process on it. You can play 3 Liga, Regional Liga, Oberliga, perfectly fine. And then you can play in the Champions League, which I thought was very strange. Conference League as well, which is weird that those 2 are there, but then the Europa League's not there. And then you can also play the FIFA Club World Cup and the DFB Pokal, the German Cup. So very strange. Not really too sure. Again, I'm going to go with my second thought process there, the fact that it doesn't meet the criteria. Anyway, we're in the MDCC arena, Magdeburg's home ground, paying them 123,000 per year. As you can see, it's a pretty big stadium, so it's not the worst sort of thing in the world. Again, we're not going to be pulling 28,500, 22,500. The attendances are going to be much lower than that. However, 4 special games against Magdeburg or against some of the other bigger teams in Bundesliga 2. Actually, I didn't even sort of think about Dynamo Dresden because we're actually going to be playing them in this division. And those games when we were in 3-Liga together before they got promoted in that first season, first season in 3-Liga, we were getting some massive attendances. I'll actually go back and show you that. As you can see there, so 24-25 season, almost 9,600 fans in the home game against Dynamo Dresden. So that's pretty big. We didn't even get close to that for the last 2 seasons as well. Our closest being last season, 6,000 or just under 6,500 against Hertha Berlin 2. Now, you might have seen on that first page, we are actually versing Hertha Berlin in our first game of the season, which is massive. I'm expecting a big crowd for that one as well, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. As you can see, the average attendance last season did go back up, and it was actually higher than that 24-25 season, just to throw that out there. It was better average, but again, not as high for our highest average, for our highest attendance on that season. Anyway, the thing you've all been waiting for, let's go into transfers. Currently trying to sell Diamande, and I'll show you as to why that is. He's got a couple of transfer offers for some actual transfer budget as well, for some finances, so that's good. A lot of activity. Go through the outs first. Uzan, Amadin, Klinger. Klinger was recently sold. We picked up 3 goalkeepers this season, so we needed to get him off the books. Sold him for nothing to Halischer, and they took him. Don't have to pay any of his wages either. We did replace him with Bredlow here. A very good sort of senior goalkeeper. Got 15 reflexes. Good one-on-ones at 13. Good handling at 12 as well. A little bit slow on the physical side, but he's strong. He's got good jumping reach, good communication, good positioning as well. Can play as a sweeper keeper or a regular goalkeeper as well. A little bit pricey, 3.6k. He was the deal that was set up that I mentioned in last episode. Now, some of the next players we got. I'll go through this guy here, Thede, Nicholas Thede. Backup goalkeeper, pretty simple. He's okay, not too bad. 2.5k a week, 3-star. Good backup goalkeeper. Anyway, we'll get into some of the NEWGENS, the really young players. The first of which I believe most of these were set up before the window actually opened. We got Branko Pajovic, 19-year-old Bosnian, looks very, very talented, really good potential on him as well. Was at this club here, this Bosnian club, Leotar, as you can see, last season a 7.77 in their division for that club. So very impressive. We do actually have a Bosnian scout who brought him to my attention. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, yep, that's the Seebeck replacement. Got to get him in straight away. Looks really good, especially for that register position. Just a perfect type of player, really. Left-footed as well, similar to Seebeck, and 1,000 per week. And we've locked him down for 4 years. I believe he has an optional extension. No sort of release clause on him apart from the relegation clause. But I'm hoping we're going to stay up this season. So that's the main goal. I didn't really talk about that yet, but just avoiding relegation. That's all we're going for this season. Anything else is a bonus. I'm not under any sort of disillusion. The teams we're versing in this division are so good. It's ridiculous. There are some really, really good teams in this division. Anyway, the next player on loan from Red Star Belgrade, I believe that's Red Star. Yes, it is Rajic. Nenad Rajic. Again, saw him as well, that he was available on loan. No wages paid for him either. He's probably slightly better than Pajovic. But I got them both in. He wants regular starter playing time on loan, which is a bit of an issue because I do want to play Pajovic as much as possible. But he's so good. He's sort of the level of this division, a player of his quality. So, as you can see, he's slightly better. He's got a half-star on Pajovic, and they both do play that register position quite well. So it'll be a decent battle to see who can actually lock down that starter position. Sort of a good sort of headache for me to have. The next player, another new gen, is Mirko Ivanovic. Really solid centre back, 19-year-old Croatian. He's on star player. A lot of these new gen players that came on free transfers, they are indeed either important player or star player. As you can see, he had an incredible season with Dugo Selo in Croatia, 7.58 average rating. And again, he was, I believe after I saw Pajovic, I started looking through some of these under 21s, under 19s for the national team. And that's where I found a lot of these players. So saw him, like, yes, have to sign. Really good determination, decision-making, concentration. I mean, the marking and the tackling is incredible. Let down a little bit by his heading, but he's 185 centimeters, so he's probably just shy. He's probably 6 foot, which is okay. Good natural fitness, good jumping reach though, good strength. Lacking a little bit positioning, but everything else pretty good. 9 passing as well is probably good enough just at the moment for us to have him as a ball-playing defender. A little bit slow, which is understandable. But really like him. He's straight into the first team. The next player is Mamadou Preval, a 19-year-old Belgian new gen. Saw him, was like, yep, that's the solution to the Muller replacement that we needed to get in. After Muller left on a free, we had no left back in the entire team. I think all we had was centre backs that can play left back, if that makes sense. He's got really good pace, really good going forward, solid enough defensively, really good mentals on him as well. 3.5 star. Again, he's got that really good potential as well. Not just that, but he can also play further up as left wing, which I think is a good. It's a good thing to have just in the back pocket. 2K per week, a little bit pricey, and again, important player contract status, but he's going to be the starting left back. It's a pretty easy one to say. And again, he came on a free transfer. Not as impressive, but he was playing Challenger Pro League, which I believe is the second tier in Belgium, and the Nationale 1 is the third tier. So he played in there, didn't do too well, as you can see there. Actually, that's the first division. The Challenger Pro League is the first division. Nationale 1 must be the second tier. Interesting. He's very good, and I'm very happy to have Preval. The next player, another Belgian, Noah Hendricks, coming from Verton. Left-footed, lacking pace, but you look at his technical stats, you look at some of his important mental stats, and this guy is an absolute beast. 2.2k per week, star player, another 19-year-old Belgian. And, I mean, as a striker, he's pretty bloody good. Just lacking that physicality. But hopefully a season in the first team and a lot of those stats will go up. I do like him as both a striker and a left winger. He'll be getting playing time probably in both of those positions. We did keep Okono. I didn't actually offer him a new contract. He just sort of stuck around. So I can always just let him go. And that will actually free up 2,000 per week on the wages. So that's another little option I have. But I really like Hendricks. I think he's really, really good. And yeah, like I said, he's going to get so much playing time this season. And then hopefully he develops. The next player we signed, another Croatian, this one, Dejan Udovic. Again, really good jumping reach. Again, 3.5 star. A little bit cheaper on the wages, 1.4k per week. And he is only 18. So again, still got even more youth on his side. Really good mentals for him as well. Lacking a little bit in the passing department, which might be a bit of an issue. But again, I'm signing all these younger players because they're going to grow with us. Long contract for him as well. He does have a release clause of 500k. But then again, I'm not really against him being signed, if that makes sense. If that release clause is activated, I'm pretty happy for him to go because I don't see him being one of the centre backs or one of the signings we signed this season that's really going to propel us into, fighting for promotion in this division. I see him more as an assist for this season, and then we'll see what happens going forward. I like the look of him though. He's a good player. He'll be solid enough to keep us up, I believe. And hopefully I'll make a bit of money on him. Realistically, his value is already over that release clause. The next player we signed, I believe, is another Croatian, Bruno Krolo, 20-year-old Croatian goalkeeper. Just signed as a backup. He's not too bad. 900 per week on wages, pretty cheap. I put him available for loan. I haven't actually offered him out yet. I think I will. Hopefully we can get him to either a top division Croatian club or potentially a 3-league club. I think that'd be really good sort of loan move for him and some first team development. But I could actually see this guy replacing Bredlow and becoming the first team goalkeeper. He's on a backup contract, so that's pretty helpful in terms of keeping him around. Again, no release clause on him, and he's got a pretty decent value already as well. The next signing, another Belgian, I believe, is Said Smet, 18-year-old Belgian. I believe this guy might potentially be a wonder kid. Signed up for 2.4k per week, star player. He looks absolutely incredible. I saw this guy and I was like, I have got to sign him. He looks incredible as a centre-back, but we move him into his natural position there of a defensive midfielder, and he becomes that ball-winning midfielder that we've sort of been lacking. Of course, Meyer's been playing there, played really well last season in that position. But this guy, he can play there. He can play at centre-back. He can even play as a wing-back, albeit he doesn't have the pace. But he's got 11 crossing. He's good enough to play in that position as well. Good first touch. His mentals are unreal. Really good determination, bravery, anticipation, aggression, concentration, teamwork. I've already made him vice captain, and I'm super, super happy with him. Again, we've got him for 4 years plus an extra, 5th year if we decide to. And his top valuation is 1.9 million at the moment, which would pretty much wipe our entire debt out. But I see him as sort of invaluable, if that makes sense. Had a really good season there for that Belgian team he was at, 7.42. Didn't play too well in the Nationale division in Belgium, but yeah, very good last season. The next player we signed, this is a weird one. So Paterne Mbala is a 19-year-old American NEWGEN. However, the team we signed him from is in Belgium, as you can see there. So we signed him, he's American, also I guess Belgian, I'd have to double check that. But the right winger, very good seasons, 7.59 last season. Season before that, 7.64. Union Namur, again, they were a Nationale 1 team. And Mbala, he's just got bucket loads of pace. He's not very good, as far as scoring-wise, only got 5 finishing. Definitely much more of a winger. I'm going to play him as the inside forward on attack. I don't expect a lot of goals from him, but I expect him to be super dangerous on that side. I might even try and train him to use his weaker foot and then cut inside as well, because I could see him causing a lot of fullbacks a lot of problems. He's got 16 for acceleration, agility, balance, and pace, and then really good sort of technique, dribbling as well, and a really good work rate. Let's just check his information. So born in the USA, and he's got DR Congo and Belgian second nationalities. What an interesting player. All right, the next player we got on loan from Dynamo Zagreb, another Croatian, and this one is Mislav Kutuk. Just a good striker. I needed a striker in the squad, as I thought Akono was going to be leaving. And I saw this guy and I was like, You know what? He's pretty good. He looks like a pretty like-for-like sort of player. I think Kutuk is maybe slightly worse than Ekono, but definitely on the same level. Probably got better technicals and worse physicals, if that makes sense. He does have 16 agility, which I do like. He's a little bit shorter, a little bit less in the weight department, but he's probably more of a ball-playing advanced forward if I'm sort of judging him correctly. Again, he comes on loan for no wages and a squad player playing time as well. So that's really good. If I do indeed, want to play someone like Hendricks up top for most of the season, if that's what I decide to do, he won't complain too much. The next loan player was from Bayern Munich 2. We're very familiar with Grayson Tony. He's played against us, in the last 2 seasons, I believe, during the 3-Liga campaign. I saw him. He was available. I signed him on loan prior to finding the NEWGENS because we got a few good centre backs with those NEWGENS. But 750 per week, it's sort of a no-brainer for a squad player centre back. Will we use the American, a lot throughout the season? Probably not. Is there a chance he might be recalled by Bayern, Munich 2? Yeah, it's possibly likely. But at the end of the day, he comes in. We've got a lot of depth, which we definitely struggled with in 3-Liga. So we've got a lot of depth. We are playing in another competition in the DFB Pokal, albeit we might get eliminated pretty early from that. But we've got the depth for a successful 2 Bundesliga campaign. The next player we signed was another free NEWGEN, 18-year-old from Argentina. This guy was just brought to my attention, I think, from his scout, potentially. And we signed him $475 per week on wages. Left-footed, can play as a striker, can play on the left wing as a winger, on support, sorry. Terrible crossing. And I'm currently training him to play as the inside forward on attack on that right-hand side. Again, 5-star potential. Will he actually be 5-star? I don't know. He's got good pace. He's got good determination. Good first touch, good dribbling. I like him. Worth a punt. We might be able to flip him on. Comes in from Kimberley in Argentina. The next player we signed, another NEWGEN, Endry. Oh, that's a name and a half. We'll go Kahaj. We'll go Kahaj. Again, very similar type of player. More of an attacking midfielder. Can also play on both sides of the wings as well. And he's also left-footed. So he's got, good pace. I don't see him really doing too much for us. And I think we might try and sell him potentially in January or at the end of the season. And hopefully one of the Greek clubs will come in and try and sign him, which would be pretty sweet. He's played a lot in Greece in the Superliga there, as you can see. Not very successfully, but maybe good enough for us to get a little bit of money out of him. We can get 150k. Again, that's 150k towards, setting the club up financially. So I like Kahaj. Like I said, he'll play here and there, but don't expect him to be in the first team too much. The next player we signed on, again, another NEWGEN on a free, Tim Beyer, 18-year-old left winger. Looks pretty good. Was released from Leipzig. Spent last season on loan in the regional league where he played 28 times. Not too bad. Good pace on him. Good dribbling. Good first touch. Good passing. Good technique. 18 years old. He's perfect. He's up in the first team at the moment, but he's available for the under-19s, where he'll probably play a majority of his time. We've got the Argentinian, we've got the Greek guy. He's probably first in the pecking order to be the backup left winger, whereas those guys could obviously play attacking mid or right wing. So I like him as that backup on that left-hand side. Doesn't have too much potential. Potential 4-star. He's already at 2.5. We'll see what happens. He got released for a reason, so that makes sense. But I just thought I'd take a little punt. He's pretty cheap. He's only on 1.2k and only squad player playing time as well. The next player we got in was Elden Zogovic from Munster, who I believe are they're back in the 3 Liga. That's pretty cool. We signed him on loan. I was looking at him last season. Of course, this season we did lose our starting right back, so we needed to replace him. And I saw this guy come on loan, and I was like, done. Perfect replacement. Better than our previous right back. Good pace on him. You know, he's got the mental stats for a half-decent fullback, wing-back. And then he's good enough defensively, somewhat solid going forward, as you can see there. 2.6k, we're paying all of his wages. He's got a little bit of potential on him. He's got 9 caps for Luxembourg, which I think is pretty cool as well. Sort of an obscure nation. And Zogovic joins us on loan for the season. We've got 3 more players, or 3 more new-gen young players. First of which, 2. First of which, another player we brought in. This was a weird one because I saw him available, Fabian Cantillo. And I was like, I don't really need another ball-winning midfielder. You know, I've got Meyer, who played really well last season, and then I've got Smet here, who I thought, is probably going to play every single game in that position anyway. So we're sorted. And then, I looked at the negotiations for Cantillo, the 29-year-old Colombian here. I thought, he's pretty much 2 Bundesliga quality already. He's 4-star, star player, prime years, 29. I was like, how much of the wage is going to be? Go in there, and it's affordable, 3.1k per week. I'm like, surely I can't pass Cantillo off. And having him in the team, surely that's going to be good enough to solidify that midfield and give us a second option to have, either backup or challenging rotation with Smet. Of course, Smet can play as a centre-back, Cantillo can kind of play there as well. I had to sign him. He's got a bit of value to him as well. So we got him on a 2-year contract. And there's room for us potentially, when he turns 30 next season, to actually sell him on. So we might do that. I do like the look of him. He's played well in preseason for the minimal amount of games he's got. And I like him. Anyway, up next, another new gen, Ibrahima Kamara. Just a little centre-back prospect. Nothing too serious. He's wanted on loan already, which is good. He's not great. He's released from the Dortmund Academy, I believe. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. I might just send him out on loan and try and get him to a regional liga, a decent regional liga team that has good training facilities. He can play centre back. He can play ball winning midfielder as well. So there's a little bit of possibility with Kamara. And the final player I just signed was Robert Fix. Saw him, tried to sign him pretty much all window, as we did need a backup left back. He's available for the under-19s as well at the moment. He's got good tackling, average marking, good crossing for a wing back, good potential, good determination, good leadership as well. Pace is pretty good. I'll show you the wing back stats there. Good natural fitness, good balance. Got a model citizen personality, which is really big. And then he's only on 700 per week. So I feel like that's sort of a perfect backup, as he'll get a little bit of game time. Was released from Wolfsburg. Yep, released from Wolfsburg's academy as well. I like the look of him. Again, if he doesn't, turn into anything amazing, it's perfectly fine. He's cheap on the wages. He's good backup. And hopefully he'll develop in our under-19s throughout the season as he is available. Anyway, there we go. We're 30 minutes in, and that is literally everything I needed to say. Season tickets, nearly doubled, which is good. 1,144. But let's get into the game today. Only going to be doing the one game because it has been a long episode already, and it is a Berlin derby. I think it's our first time versing Hertha Berlin's first team, which is very cool. And this is going to be our lineup for today. So in goals, we got Bredlow, the new goalkeeper. Zogovic is going to be the right wing back. Ivanovic and Udovic, the two Croatian centre backs, are going to be partnering each other in the centre of our defence today. And then we're going to go with Meyer at left back today. Unfortunately, Prevel did pick up an injury, but he's going to be back for the next game, which is decent. In the midfield, going to go with Cantillo. Smet's going to be on the bench there. Hasn't played too well throughout preseason. Similar to Bredlow. There are a couple others. Hendricks hasn't played well. We might struggle for goals this season, but we'll just have to wait and see. Jublovic still the probably one of the only players still in the lineup realistically. Pajovic, of course, the Bosnian. Going to give him the start today. You know, he is actually our player, so I'd like to try and develop him a little bit more than Rajic, the lone player from Serbia. So Pajovic will start as the register. Jublovic will sit in front of them as the attacking midfielder. Hendricks is going to start on the left wing. Mbala is going to start as our right wing inside forward. And then Kutok is going to start up top. The bench today is pretty stacked. We've got Smet. We've got Fix, just in case Meyer picks up an injury. We've got Rajic. We've got Anor, who's still at the club. Verdugo, the Argentinian. We've got Tim Bayer, the left winger. We've got Quahaj, and we've got Leader. Leader's still in there as well. Gave him a new contract. He's still the club captain. He actually took a pay decrease. I believe he was on about 3.2k last season, and he's now on 2.3. So that was really good. Gave him a new contract. At the moment, we're trying to get rid of Milic. Been trying to offer him out. Nobody really wants him, which isn't... it's not too surprising. Already mentioned Diamande. And then I'm thinking about terminating Akono's contract. So that's a possibility. Struik and Gudra are sort of the other two that stick around our sort of front three from last season. Gudra probably would have started today, but he's suspended. And Struik, he might have started. I do want to see Mbala, and like I said, I feel like he will give other teams big problems. Cantillo not match fit. Jublovic struggling a little bit. I think he had injury during pre-season. So let's get in there. I've got to give a squad number here to Fix. We'll give him 33, which was Akono's number, but again, I don't know if Akono's going to stay. All right, let's get into today's match. Hertha Berlin, our first Bundesliga 2 game since we started the series here. Just going to tell the boys to go out there and play with freedom, no pressure, and here we go. I wish we were in the Sport Forum. It almost feels weird not being in the Sport Forum. That was our home ground. Now we're ground sharing with one of our rivals. And they're one of our fierce rivals as well, Magdeburg. I mean, it doesn't look like we're actually starting too well at the moment. We're definitely getting dominated by Hertha. A lot of possession for Hertha so far. And they're in possession at the moment. They're not really doing anything too serious, sort of just passing it around the back. I'm wondering if they're playing a possession-based tactic. We're going to run with the same tactic we used last season. I'm expecting a lot of hairy results, a lot of losses to come from the start of the season, as we do indeed concede a goal there to Mara from Hertha Berlin. I'm expecting a lot of losses at the start. We've got a lot of new players. I mean, it took me nearly, 20 minutes to get through the new players. And Maya's going to get sent off here. That is not the start that I wanted. I mean, it's got Mara's picture, but that is indeed Felix Maya. Oh, that's a rough one. I think Zogovic can kind of play there. So I'm thinking I go him, and then I maybe bring Smet on. Now, let's pause it here. I think we're about to concede a second goal there. I don't want to play Fix. Fix will get destroyed at this point in time. He's also not match fit either. I want him playing for the under-19s to try and build up that match fitness. But yeah, this is the absolute worst case scenario. So let's go like this. Hendricks will come off, which is unfortunate for Smet, and then Smet's going to go into Maya's position. I'll need to open that up. And then Smet and Zogovic will swap sides as well. I mean, it sort of works, I guess, as we luckily don't concede. But that's all I can really think of doing. I'll encourage the boys as well. Hopefully that'll... Yeah, I mean, it's fired some of them up, which is good. They're looking happy out there. We've got a corner. Cantillo almost got his head to it. Pajovic in the box. Penalty ref. Referee. Yes, penalty. Oh, that's huge. I don't actually know who is going to take our penalty. Get in there. We've also got VAR, which is nice. Who's it going to be? Zogovic, the right back. And he goes straight down the middle, slots it in the back of the net. And it's 1-1 with us down to 10 men. Okay. That made it more interesting. I was very much under the impression that it was going to be a lot worse than that at the moment. But we've actually scored. I'll go with we've been unlucky. I don't think we've been that unlucky. We've got a red card, and we're also now on level terms. As Hertha are coming forward again. That was almost a good tackle. And they've scored from the kickoff. 18 seconds into the second half. There's not much I can really do there. I mean, Zogovic, he did well. He essentially made the tackle, but then their winger just got lucky, got the ball back, easy cross in the middle, and a second goal for them. I mean, Hertha is one of those teams they have a very, very good squad as Dardai. I think that's a new signing for them as well. He just scored a third goal for Hertha Berlin there. Yeah, Felix Maya definitely wanted to put us into a bad position for this first game of the season. He definitely didn't want us to win, that's for sure. I can't really fault the players too much because it's not their fault one of their teammates got sent off. That was pretty poor there by Mbala. Dardai getting forward again. He's dangerous, man. I was looking at his stats before. That's a good save by Bredlow. Very good save. All right, just before they take this corner, let's make some subs. I was going to say we'll make a sub up top, but we don't really have any other strikers on the bench now because I did take Hendricks off. We'll go like this. We'll go Badugu for Mbala. And then Rajic for Pajovic. And then maybe Leader as well. Go Leader for Ivanovic, and then Smet can come into centre back. That's a lot of changes there. That's a lot of changes. Another good save. Mara pretty much on a hat-trick there. And we're looking at counter-attack very quickly. And Mbala's got pace. He's got pace to burn. Unfortunately, he does terribly. I don't even know what that first touch... It wasn't his first touch, but it was a terrible dribbling touch that he had. All right, Hertha with a free kick. Cannon's off the crossbar by the looks of it there. Rajic trying to get there, can't get there before the Hertha player. Does win the ball back though. Jublovic. There aren't many centre backs, or there's 3 players back for them. Cantillo out to Verdugo. Leader plays a. I mean, it was an okay ball, but Verdugo maybe just doesn't have the intelligence level. Oh, that's a gift. Kutuk gets a pass back and puts it in the back of the net. Yeah. Omic was trying to play it back to the goalkeeper there. Very nice stuff. It's 3-2. We're a man down and it's 3-2 at the moment. But we're still sort of in the game. I mean, they're about to score here for sure. Can we defend it? I mean, we've just got a player outnumber, realistically. I mean, Udovic apparently made a very good challenge there. Oh, that's a good save by Bredlow. Oh, that's terrible. Leader with a brilliant tackle. That was a poor clearance as well, though. All right, let's encourage the boys for the last 10 minutes. Just see what they can do. I'm not fussed if we lose this game. I'm actually taking some real positives out of this. We've our XG is about the same as theirs. That in itself is positive. Obviously the red card's terrible. It finishes 3-2. We do lose to a Berlin rival. There's some decent players out there. Kutuk, good finish on his pounced error that he managed to get. Jublovic looked like he was actually playing really well out there, 7.3. And then Zogovic scored the penalty, maybe a little bit at fault, but like I said, it was more of an error for that second goal. And yeah, I'm proud of everyone's efforts. Obviously, Maya with a 5.9 getting a second red card. It's disappointing, but I'm not gonna slaughter him. I don't think it would be fair, especially with the season that he did have last year. And there you go, Diamande, 11.25k, and he's going to an Ivory Coast team back in his homeland. See you, Diamande. You didn't really feature too much, and yeah, he was not going to be anywhere near the first team this year. So I figured we'll get his wages off, and then I actually managed to get a little bit of cash for him, which is pretty good. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of the episode. Drop a like. It's been a long one, I know, so I do appreciate you getting all the way through. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit the notification bell. You'll be updated. Of course, these episodes are still coming out every second day, every other day, essentially. So make sure you check back for those. And yeah, apart from that, guys, as always, take it easy and goodbye.